Hi there, folks. This is Diederik Cardon from Cardon and Company out of sunny Amsterdam. This is me. We run a business and immigration law firm in Amsterdam, and we cater specifically towards DAFT clients. Today, we are going to talk about the DAFT Treaty Visa and a particular subject. There are the position of family members that are joining the main applicant and how spouses, partner, and children fit into process in 2026. Let's refresh our memories here. DAFT grants the main applicant a residence permit to live in the Netherlands and to work as an entrepreneur. So work is limited to self-employment. Salaried employment is not allowed. Tied to a company in which you hold at least 25% of the shares. It's a Dutch company, so basically it boils down to the choice between ZZP company form and the BV, which separately allows for a 30% ruling. You can check out the other blogs and videos for that. Typical examples of self-employment include 1099, contracting, freelancing, or setting out a full-blown startup company. Excluded are W2 work. Also, if it's cross-border from the Netherlands, for that you need a regular work permit, and DAFT does not give that to you. Or local Dutch regular employment, meaning working for a company in which you own less than 25% of the company, which is what most regular employees have. The DAFT grants to the family members, which means the spouse, the non-married partner, and underage children, let's say the nuclear family, a residence permit to live in the Netherlands, the right to do anything they choose, to work in self-employment, to work in regular employment, go to school, or to remain idle and do nothing at all. No obligations, no restrictions. So that makes the position of the family members arguably more attractive than the main applicant. Who is eligible to join under DAFT? The typical family has either a spouse or an unmarried partner. Both can join. They need different documents to prove that. The spouse needs to present a marriage certificate. The partner, in the case of the partner, both partners, also the main applicant, needs to present a certificate of non-married status, simply to prove that they're not married to somebody else. The relationship will be evidenced by circumstantial documents such as photos and a lease contract in the same name, and obviously being registered in the Netherlands at the same address. Minor children can join by presenting a birth certificate that has the main applicant as a parent. Edge cases for children. If a child turns 18 just after the DAFT application, they will still fall under the initial 2-year term, as long as the application is received by the IND before they turn 18. If a child turns 18 during the 2-year period, they can keep the permit until renewal time, even though they are already an adult. At renewal, after 2 years, if the child has passed the age of 18, they cannot join as a normal dependent. They need to look into a different path. If already 18 plus at application, they also need to look into a different avenue of approach. And we're going to talk about that right now. So, not covered are the adult children and also the parents of the main applicant. So, in the scenario of a nuclear family, the grandparents. They can join the main applicant under DAFT, but they need to prove a different case that they are totally dependent on the DAFT main applicant, which is called the so-called Article 8 EU procedure. Only in exceptional circumstances is this allowed. It's mainly the case when the person is residing at the same address and the main DAFT applicant handles everything for them, also pay their bills, and medical and dependency situations. So this is very much a circumstantial application which needs to be appraised by the IND and cannot be really guaranteed. The application runs in parallel with the main DAFT application, but can be rejected separately from the main DAFT application. We handle these cases and we get success rates in about 90% of the cases, but we cannot guarantee the correct outcome here. The rights of family, when do they start? We all know that when the DAFT is submitted, we will await the confirmation letter. The confirmation letter will contain a V number, and that V number allows you to pick up the residence endorsement sticker at the Dutch IND. That residence endorsement sticker grants everybody in the family the right to stay in the Netherlands while waiting for the final decision. The main applicant can already get to work, but the dependent cannot work in regular employment yet. They need to wait until the final residence card lands. then that card will state that they have the right to work in regular employment. Same applies to enrollment in school. Enrollment in school requires the child to have the main the final verdict on the DAFT application in the pocket. Some expat schools take exception here, but this is the rule. So please consult with the school you're dealing with here. And FYI, if the dependent would be looking to work self-employed during the sticker time before the final verdict, that's also allowed. So when you come to the municipality, you need to bring a couple of documents. Let's refresh our minds there. Everybody needs to bring a passport, make sure it's valid for at least 6 months. Everybody needs to bring a paper, hard copy birth certificate. Make sure they're apostilled. The apostille is valid indefinitely, so it can be apostilled a long while ago and still be used for the registration. If you are married, you bring a marriage certificate. Make sure the apostille is not older than 6 months. The reason why it can expire is because marriage is a state that can change as opposed to birth. So that's why there is a 6-month period during which it can expire. Same applies to single status documents. Please bring this both with you in paper version with an apostille attached to it. The apostille cannot be older than 6 months. These documents also need to be presented during the initial IND application, by the way, so you need to have them in your file. The lease contract for the apartment in that particular municipality also must be presented at that municipality meeting. Now, bear in mind that the Netherlands accepts a couple of languages outside of Dutch, obviously English, but also French and German. So if your document is not made up in either of these languages, it needs to be translated, and that means that also applies to the apostille. If the apostille is made out in Spanish, for example, it needs to be translated again, in which case we're talking about a double apostille. So if you don't show the correct documents, municipalities normally perform your registration and issue you the BSN regardless of that defect. They will give you a grace period of about 3 to 6 months to provide the documents. So it's not a terrible situation if you wind up not having a complete file at the municipality. This is what an apostille looks like. Some people think that any official stamp or signature automatically means that it's an apostille. That's not the case. An apostille has the word apostille on it, Convention de la Haye 1961. This is the extra page that needs to be attached to your document. Otherwise, it is not apostilled. That's how simple it is. If you're looking to apostille a document, you can go to your county clerk's office, State Department, or online notary services such as scribbleseal.com or apostillellc.com. These are not affiliated, but we know that they exist. Some scenarios. A family member is non-US, non-EU. That means they must follow the MVV procedure. This looks exceptional, but everybody who is not EU normally has to follow this procedure, and Americans are exempt from that. The MVV means that you need to pick up an MVV sticker at the Dutch embassy in your host country or country of birth. It's just a sticker procedure. You will drop your biometrics there like you would at the IND, so you can skip those steps after you arrive, and it takes about 4 weeks longer. And the rest is all the same. You just go to the municipality and present the sticker and move forward from there. Some family members are in the process of obtaining an EU passport. Good for them. That means that they can just register as a citizen of the Union from the moment they have that passport, and they don't have to stick to the DAFT requirements anymore. So after 2 years, they don't have to worry about renewing it. This does not derail anything. It's just a change in their status, and it's basically, it makes life easier for you. If a child is moving without one of the parents, you need to prove why the other parent is not around, either a court order or settlement papers, again with an apostille on it, to prove why the other parent is not around, or a certified consent letter to show that the other parent consents to the child moving along with the parent. If the other parent is deceased, there needs to be a death certificate, and no further consents required. The death certificate, again, must be apostilled. Death being a permanent status, the apostille does not expire after 6 months. The single parent birth situation sometimes exists. We see this quite often. This just means that the child shows one parent, and for the other parent, a dash on the birth certificate, and that's enough proof for that status. Personalia changes. So if the family member has undergone a sex or name change, you show the paper trail for that. Marriages more often than not lead to name changes, and the marriage certificate will evidence that. If there has been a sex change, then we need the court order to that extent, and that basically shows a paper trail from the birth certificate to the current status, and that court order needs to be apostilled as well. Some nice perks available under DAFT. Well, to be more precise, it's available under the 30% ruling. So you need to look into that if you're looking to work self-employed in the Netherlands. Try to obtain the 30% ruling while working from the BV. The perks are that you get a driver's license swap for both the holder of the 30% ruling and their spouse. This means they don't have to take a Dutch driver's test after 6 months. It's an interesting perk. Family relocation cost expensing as a business expense in the company for the entire family up to a forfeitary amount of about between 7,500 and 8,000 euros. That's nice. It's to have that as a business expense as a write-off. Lastly, you can also write off expat school expenses if you put your child in an expat school. Mind you, writing it off means that the business needs to earn that money in order to make use of that benefit. So if you get a 30% ruling and only meet the requirements barely, then having these extra costs and being able to expense them has not a lot of use. So calculate those costs in on top of the salary requirement. FAQs, many questions have been asked, many questions have been answered. You can look at the blog page at Cardone website. If you scroll down, there's many of those questions. And if you feel one question is missing, just reach out to us and we will be happy to help you through WhatsApp. And if you're looking to actually make the jump, you can schedule a call via the link in the bio, and we'll follow up with some more information there. That's Diederik from Amsterdam for you. See you guys soon, and take care.